Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for being here today. My name is Kylie. I am a choreographer here in the beautiful city of Toronto, Canada. Today on the channel, we are going to be talking about 5 steps to help you create an independent dance theater production. These are the steps that I use. I want to just let it be known that not every choreographer creates this way. This is sort of the method and the flow that I've found as a choreographer. I invite you to try it out. I know I'm not the only person that works in this way, and I'm definitely not the person that created this method. But these are just the things that I do, and I wanted to share some of those things with you today. So let's get into it. So first things first, you want to develop a movement language. You want to work with your dancers to develop a movement language that's going to be present and consistent throughout your piece. So for example, getting in the room, tossing out some improvisation ideas, working with textures, working with imagery, and just improvising to get everyone into the same kind of physicality, whether you want to do partnering, things like this, just warming that up and getting the dancers into the headspace you want them to be in to execute this work. The next thing I would then do is I would bring my concept into the room and I would work with the dancers kind of on an individual level to develop some solo phrase material. So choosing a concept, maybe it's even just a word, and saying, we're gonna work today on creating some solo phrases. And oftentimes I let the dancers go ahead and start creating their own movement, and I'll bounce around the room and I'll visit each of them individually and say, great, let's try it this way. I'll add my input as we go, and I really like it to be a collaborative effort between dancers and choreographer. Number 3, once the dancers have some individual solo phrase work, I then start to cut and paste a little bit. Sometimes I'll take one soloist and just place them in the space with another soloist just to see how their material looks side by side. And then we'll start playing with it. I'll say, okay, dancer number 1, I want you to take this battement or this roll that you do, and I want you to take it beside dancer number 2. Or sometimes we'll even start to take those individual phrases and have the dancers teach them to one another. Maybe an individual piece of phrase work eventually becomes a larger group section that everyone does, and you're gonna pull different things out of different dancers. Don't be afraid to use that delete button. Not everything you workshop, especially in these early stages of your creation process, is gonna end up in the final piece. So don't worry about hurting people's feelings. Dancers are used to this. Don't worry about letting go of material that isn't resonating with you. So number 4, kind of leading off of what I just talked about, start to identify certain sections of phrase work that you really, really love, and again, expand them into larger sections. Whether that's taking a piece of solo work and building a group sort of background section to frame that solo, or whether it's taking that solo and having a group of 5 dancers learn that section to become a unison section. Audiences love unison dancing, and if you don't know what that term means, it simply means a group of dancers all doing the same movement in sync and in time with each other. And a group of dancers are all doing the same thing, it creates a statement. But on that note, don't overdo it with your unison. It tends to be what some choreographers default to, and just like any other setup of choreography, it can get old. Number 5, another thing you can do with some of your individual phrase work is you can start to create motifs. So a motif is something within any genre of art that recurs within the piece, and it's something that then stands out to the viewer. And the viewer starts to understand that, okay, this holds meaning, I've seen this thing multiple times now, it must mean something. So the viewer will start to piece together an idea of what you're trying to say as an artist. So whether it's a simple hand gesture or whether it's a whole phrase of movement that repeats over and over again.
Hey guys, I just also wanted to jump in here and say that you can also add in visual aids such as props and costume pieces and other visual elements to your dance piece to add motif. It doesn't just have to be within the movement.
Know that when you add repetition and use of motif in your work, you're saying something. That's all I've got for you today. I think using those 5 steps, you'll be well on your way to getting started with your dance piece. There's many different directions that it can go from there. And of course, that's not all there is to it, but that definitely covers the beginning stages, and that will hopefully get you rolling on the start of something beautiful. So thanks so much for listening today. We will see you in the next one. Don't forget to subscribe, and happy dancing. See you later.